election in November is an existential election. Who we elect as president will determine whether there will be a livable future for our children and grandchildren. There's no question about that. We know that Donald Trump invited all the heads, the CEOs of the oil companies down to Mar-a-Lago and said to them, if you give me $1 billion, I'll kill the EPA, I'll do away with the Clean Water Act and the Clean Air Act and so forth. There was only one thing that they really cared about. Last January, Biden very bravely issued a pause on exporting liquefied natural gas from the United States. The United States is the #1 exporter of gas and coal. We don't use it here at all. Exporting it means our gas prices go up. That's the truth. Our gas prices go up, and people around the world will be poisoned. It's primarily methane. Methane is 80 times more dangerous than carbon dioxide over a 20-year period. Not only dangerous to the environment, dangerous to people's health. It's lethal. And it is billowing out of terminals down in Texas and Louisiana, hundreds of feet high, clouds of methane, and nothing's being done about it. Putting a pause on the export means that they can't drill anymore because there's no place to send it. And all the oil company CEOs wanted to know is, are you going to lift the pause? That's what they care about. Because they can't get the money to build new terminals if there's no export guaranteed. They'll stop drilling. So this is what Biden did is critical. It's not sexy. It's not on the front page. Probably most of you never even heard about it, but it's a big deal. Texas and Louisiana and the drilling in the Permian Basin of Texas represents the biggest, they call it a carbon bomb. If it's allowed to continue the way it is, it will release a gigaton of carbon dioxide and methane. It's the biggest, most dangerous for the climate thing anywhere in the world. Like many of you, I've been an activist for a long time. I've gotten arrested a bunch of times. And so have you. And we've marched and protested and written and lobbied. And it's good because we persuaded a lot of Americans that this is a real crisis. But it hasn't gotten us the legislation that is commensurate with what science is demanding. Not even the IRA came close. Yep. And why? Because so many of our elected officials, Democrats as well as Republicans, take money from the fossil fuel industry. They've bought off our elected officials. Too many people in this country are elected because of corporate greed. I started a PAC 2 years ago because I saw what the Republicans did for decades. With Koch brother money, they infiltrated school boards, school districts, health districts, city councils, state legislatures, supervisors, mayors. They elected all these people, and the Democrats didn't notice. It was under the radar. And it's gotten us into a lot of trouble. We have to reverse that. We focus, my PAC does, and I urge you all to look down ballot, vote for sheriffs and county executives and city councils and state legislators. Our state legislature has more empty seats this year than ever before. A lot of people termed out, a lot of people didn't want to run again. The Republicans are putting a lot of money to try to get control of our state legislature. The reason we haven't been able to get the kind of legislature that a Senate Bill 1137 represents is because they've been bought off. We have to change that. So please, this is my plea. In November, when you vote, vote with climate in your heart. Vote down ballot. I don't know who the Democratic presidential candidate is going to be, but whoever he is or she is, I don't care what you think, vote for it. Man or woman, black, white, whatever it is, vote for him, her, it, they, them. And also, here's another thing, Google Project 25. This is a 900-page document written by 400 conservative people, many working for the Heritage Foundation, that is a blueprint for fascism. I have read part of it. I started to shake. There can be no mention of climate. The EPA is gone. Clean water, clean air, gone. The Department of Education is gone. It's granular. The dismantling of the United States government as we know it, and any concern about climate and the future is gone. This is what we get if the orange guy gets elected in November. And so, you know, I have grandkids that don't intend to vote. A lot of people do. You've got to convince these young people. Sitting it out, not voting, or voting for Bobby Kennedy is voting for fascism. And we can't allow that to happen. And I know that last night was not a great time for Joe Biden, but we're not electing a debater, we're electing a president. So whoever it is, if it's him or somebody else, please try to get everybody you know to vote. We can't sit this one out. Thank you very much.